I told you I have the record of deaths, all record deaths in concentration camps from 1939 to 48, according to Geneva Convention from the World Almanac and International Red Cross. Well, I wouldn't trust the International Red Cross. They were one of the nursing unions during the Holocaust. Yeah, you could go with either the Nazi Party or the Red Cross, and there wasn't much difference between the two. I'm a nurse, so I had looked into all that. Look, that doesn't change the fact, okay? Like this idea that people want to say, no, there wasn't this many. No, we have enough evidence of what happened during the Holocaust. Besides, if you're a Bible believing person, all of this is talked about in the Bible. Here's what people don't realize is that it seems that what always happens, and it's what happened in Egypt with the Israelites, is that people want to start offing them and genociding them once they start multiplying, once there's so many of them. There's been a mass amount of Jews that multiplied after Germany, after the Holocaust, proving the Bible too. So there's going to be a ton of Candace Owens and a ton of people misled by all this stuff, okay? She's not misled. She literally serves the crown, in my opinion. But she's just a young, stupid person. A very young, stupid person who acts like that she's brave because, look, I'm going to say, but she doesn't care about she doesn't care about the Arabs. In my opinion, the people that do care about the Arabs in Palestine is Israel. They do. They've had to watch through their history their neighbors and people they had formed bonds with get killed. Not because of Arabs living in that area, but because of terrorist organizations that have infiltrated since the very beginning. And that has caused nothing but trauma and pain and suffering. I would imagine that and not that we'll ever know the truth, but that the Palestinians would like to be out from under Hamas. But many of them, they know who they are, but then there's some, because they radicalize them when they're young in the classroom to hate the Jews, that it's a sad situation. And then everybody hates the Jews, proving the Bible. So what I think God does is he says, well, we got this group of people that wants to carry on that I somehow, I mean, not that I'm God, I'm just saying that in my opinion, God is saying we have this group of people that wants to claim that the Almighty God is going to care about the color of skin. So, and wants to say the Israelites were all black. Then we have this other group of people that think that I'm going to support them because they annihilated a bunch of fake Jews, okay? So God will put both of those on the scrap pile because people not getting it. And then for the Jews that aren't in that group, okay, whether they were Israelite descendants or not, God doesn't care about that. He doesn't, because what does he say in the New Testament? He says, I'm going to graft the Gentiles in. Not so that the Jews teach us anything, but so that makes the Jews jealous that are still following the Talmud and the Old Testament. That's why. That's why it's not Jews that are the most persecuted anymore. It's Christians. And are there some Jews that persecute? Sure, they end up aligning, but not there in Israel. They end up aligning like with the Hindus, and they align with it because the Israelites were Arab. I mean, nowadays they went in. It's mixed everywhere. But what I'm saying is that there are those Jews that only believe in the Talmud and the Old Testament. Do I think that they're killers? No, I mean, maybe some of them are, but what they do is they join political alliances with Islam, with Hindus, with that old ancient religion. I think that's what people aren't realizing is that, in the New Testament, it's talked about that old ancient religion. So Islam, way back in the day, The Arabs were what the Israelites were clearing out, again, because of they were sacrificing humans. That old ancient religion that loves to prop itself up as we've been the oldest religion. Oh, well, that's good. Well, at least you're letting us know that according to the Christian Bible, that's not the path you want to be on. I mean, it's true. At one time, the Arabs had multiple gods. Even after the Israelites, they had multiple gods. And then you have the group of Jews that are snobby, and they're know-it-alls, and they don't humble themselves, very much like the Pharisees, and God will throw them on the scrap pile too, because they think that they're so special they don't have to follow the New Testament, and they'll find out that's not going to work for them either, okay? But as far as the situation that has gone on because of this tiny, tiny area in the Middle East that has just caused this total ripple effect throughout the world, and everybody saying, no, my religion was first. My religion came in, and it's like, yeah, well, that's great, but those, according to the Christian Bible, are all the religions God wasn't happy with. And then you look into their history, and you could see why, because there was human sacrifice going on, there was Baal and Moloch, and it's just, it carries on, it reinvents itself, and then it justifies itself we're going to go in and kill a bunch of Jews, and then the people like Candace Owens won't really feel bad about the Jews that were killed on October 7th, or she'll feel bad for like 24 hours, when really I think she just celebrates it, in my opinion. Just saying. I think she does. Because she's just a stupid person. But that narrative is being pushed about the poor Palestinians. And the narrative I'm going to push, not a narrative, but I know more about it than Candace does, is that the Jews trying to get rid of these terrorist organizations is not just in their interest, it's in the Palestinians' interests. Nobody cares about those people. Candace, I don't care. No American. The people that, and this will drive everybody nuts, the people that really care about the Palestinians are the Jews. I'm not saying the Jews worldwide, but the Jews there in Israel. Because they've always tried to be careful with when they have to defend themselves. They do. They have an iron dome so that they can try to avoid all this. But they didn't used to. And that PLO and that Hamas and that Hezbollah and the Muslim Brotherhood, it ends up getting worse over time. It becomes this, yeah. The Sarka, translated as God is the greatest, death to America, death to Israel, curse be upon the Jews, victory to Islam, is the main political slogan of the Houthi movement. Yeah, the Houthi movement hasn't been around a long time. No, it hasn't. Yeah. That's why Trump's doing strikes in Yemen, because they're the ones interfering with in the Red Sea with our ships and stuff. So this is how they feel. Okay, but this is what it's been all along. Part of the reason they hate Americans is because we stand with Israel. Like, there's not many countries that will stand with, like, all of those Arab countries surrounding Palestine and Israel. They usually don't want to get involved in it. They don't. Like, when there's some sort of disaster in another country, do you realize that the Jews will send money, like, all countries will do when there's a major, like a tsunami or something, and some of those countries won't even accept their money because they hate them so much? Like, that's how much people's brains have been twisted. So are there Jews that hate the Christians? Yes, and that God throws them in the scrap pile along with the people that kill the Jews and kill the Arabs and kill the innocent people, all going on the same scrap pile. This isn't the God that will win. This is a different God. God in the Bible warned us about this God. But this is formed because of radicalization that started all because a group of people were put in a small area in Israel. And then people had to have a tantrum about it. And now it's turned into the most propaganda bullshit I've ever seen.